9:08 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Look who decided to show up today. Was there no underwater hockey for you to watch? The cricket tournament ended early.
You know, some skydiving, skee ball, a couple things, but I was able to move.
Skydiving, skee ball.
I was able to move that all around for you today.
Not going to lie, would pay money to watch.
Yeah, I would watch that.
Welcome back, Mac.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right, we got you for three more
days
until you head off to Kansas City.
Yes, that's true.
Me and you together in the studio 2 more days.
I know, today and tomorrow.
I know, I'm bummed.
Sad.
I'm bummed.
That is sad.
I know.
But it's going to be fun for you. I mean, you're going to be on location at a cool event, so.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Young Women's Leadership Summit in San Antonio to help out my friends at Turning Point USA. I'm most excited about going to see the Alamo and the inevitable letdown that it will be.
Yeah, you're already preparing yourself.
Everybody is telling me, yeah, it's going to be a letdown. Even Savannah Hernandez, when we talked to her earlier this week, she's like, I live in San Antonio. It's going to be a letdown. It's going to be a letdown for sure. Yeah, I understand. But, all right, so we got 2 days left. Are we going to do anything? What should we do? Should we do something fun?
Just live it up. I don't know. Do something.
Let's live it up.
Yeah, exactly. Members Nutrition Super Text line. If you have any suggestions, let us know.
You know what I'm going to do for you?
What is that?
I'm going to start today with sports news.
Wow.
I'm doing this just for you.
Okay.
Maybe I'll say something outlandish and they'll say, you know what, we can't have this guy join our team, and then you're stuck here. All right, so on the subject of Pride Month, there are some NFL teams that have opted out. 10 NFL teams so far refusing LGBTQIA plus 2AS, all the things, Pride Month messaging. I know, I was as shocked as you are. I thought the NFL was gung-ho on the Pride Month messaging, but of the NFL's 32 professional teams, only 22 commemorated Pride Month with the start of June this weekend via social media. Only 22. It's so sad. So sad. All right, so which teams have opted out of the cultural programming that they just input into every American citizen? Well, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers said no, hard pass. The Cleveland Browns said, yeah, try again next year. The Cincinnati Bengals said, not for us. The Tennessee Titans. Whoa.
There we go.
Whoa.
Wow.
The Tennessee Titans said, yeah, not going to do that. The Kansas City Chiefs also.
I saw that.
Also said, not for us. The Broncos, the Cowboys, surprisingly enough, the Packers.
Is that surprising?
They opted out of the gay pride logo. The New Orleans, what? The New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. This is good news. It shows that the tide is turning against the indoctrination. Last year, obviously, the NHL said its teams would no longer wear the rainbow-colored Alphabet Mafia-themed jerseys during pregame warm-ups for Pride Nights. That same year, NHL Pride Nights became a hot topic of conversation when the Philadelphia Flyers defenseman Ivan Provorov, you remember that story, refused to participate in his team's Pride Night due to his Orthodox Christian faith. It sparked all the name calling, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe. He didn't waver, and now the Philadelphia Flyers kept him in the lineup, and they even went on to win that game that night. It's good. It's good to see that sanity is somewhat coming back when it comes to this stuff. Of course, there's not a lot of sanity to go around. And when you see this Pride Month stuff coming, they are absolutely going after the kids. 100%. Go on Instagram, go to the official Sesame Street Instagram page, and they have a Sesame Street themed Pride Month logo. I'm sorry. Why do we need Pride Month for a show that's aimed at 2 to 6 year olds? Why do you need to put that on Instagram? Why? Because they're going after children. And at a Pride parade in West Hollywood, just over the weekend, even the mayor of West Hollywood said his favorite part about the Pride Parade, as a fire truck with men in thongs dancing with cartoon mascots drives by. He says, my favorite part about Pride is going out there and seeing all the kids on live TV.
I met that dancing bear out here in front of the WeHo. Oh, my gosh.
What has been your favorite part of this event so far?
I loved going out there and seeing all the kids.
Love seeing all the kids. They're going after your kids. That's the goal of this. I'll go a step farther. Disney Plus, like all the streaming services, they have their Pride collection on the front main page, right? Not shocked to see that. But Disney Plus, I mean, the platform is absolutely designed and geared towards children. Well, Breitbart says that the Disney grooming syndicate is not playing around when it comes to sexualizing and queering children, including small kids. So the editor-in-chief of Breitbart, Alex Marlow, he experienced this weekend the Pride collection. He says he wasn't surprised. He wasn't shocked. And he's not really a fan of this stuff. He goes, but from there, he decided to wonder, are they coming after me because I have an adult profile? Or would this be the exact same page if you had a kid's profile? He was quoted as saying, I thought this was a bit aggressive for a brand best known for its content for children, so I decided to create a new account. I entered the birth date of a 4-year-old to see if that would generate less sexualized material. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Even on a profile with the birthday for a 4-year-old, the adult-themed content is promoted, including drag-themed shows. Said one of the things that caught his eyes was the controversial Lightyear movie, which of course flopped because nobody wants that kind of propaganda in their kids' movies. It was listed in the LGBTQ plus love story section. Marvel's Eternals, which also failed, is featured all over the page. He said, I then set up parental controls, not a quick process, to top out at a G rating. And while that did remove a lot of the shows intended for mature audiences, the Pride page still suggests a number of cartoons aimed at children that have GLAAD award and nominations. So, you tell Disney Plus a 4-year-old is watching, and Disney pushes adult-themed LGBTQ content on them, including drag-themed shows. Well, why is this okay? Why is this still happening? What kind of corporation is okay with this? Well, as Marlowe says, a demonic corporation openly grooming and queering your kids. Marlowe goes on to say, I'm sorry, but there's nothing okay with exposing little kids to any kind of homosexual content. Doing so only serves to destroy a child's innocence by opening up a world of adult sexuality before the child is prepared to process it, before the parent is prepared to explain it. You can crybaby about how if it's okay to show a man and a woman kissing, it should be okay to show two men kissing, but everybody knows it's different. Everyone knows it's different. Of course it's different. Of course it is. Teaching tolerance for others who are different is a good thing that this country has been doing for 100 years. Which is why America is the most tolerant country in the history of the world. And the last 100 years, prove you don't need to destroy an innocent child's innocence to accomplish that. There's nothing wrong with gay TV shows and movies. There's not even anything wrong with gay TV shows and movies aimed at kids with gay parents. We live in a great, big, beautiful, diverse melting pot of humanity filled with all kinds of people, says Alex Marlowe, but this is not what Disney Plus is doing. As you can see, Disney is pushing this propaganda on your kids, all kids, including 4-year-olds. Disney's promoting a sexual lifestyle with sparkly rainbows. This is pure evil, and I would say the same if Disney wanted your kids to celebrate heterosexual stripper month. Marlowe continues, we just want to get married. Remember that BS? Some of us tried to warn you of the slippery slope. Some of us explained that once the camel nose was allowed into the tent, what would come next would overwhelm and trample everything. Well, now, through the very same tolerance lie, men are stealing sporting accomplishments from women, and the open recruiting of little children has begun. Decent parents do not leave their children alone with Disney. I ask you, if you have a Disney Plus account, cancel it. And it's not just big corporations. It's not just the mayor of West Hollywood. It's also Joe Biden. President Joe Biden addressed transgender children in his White House LGBTQI plus proclamation, asserting his administration is protecting them from discrimination. Notably, the Biden and his allies often consider protecting children from mutilating their physical bodies a form of discrimination, right? If you think it's okay for kids to have gender mutilation surgery, you're discriminating. You're discriminating against them. The Biden administration wants to normalize this gender dysphoria, and in his statement, where his proclamation, right, where he addressed LGBTQI month. During Pride Month, we celebrate the extraordinary courage and contributions of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex community. Advancing equality for the LGBTQI plus community is a top priority for my administration. We understand. And he continues, but for all the progress, we know real challenges persist. Biden also used the proclamation to address gun violence. He said he had the honor of meeting survivors of the Club Q and Pulse shootings, which tragically took the lives of LGBTQI plus Americans. But towards the end, he goes, although my administration passed the most significant gun law in nearly 30 years, Congress must do more. Ban assault weapons, right? Yeah, you got to ban assault weapons, and you got to sneak that into your Gay Pride Month proclamation. And then, towards the end, to the entire LGBTQI community, and especially transgender children, please know that your president and my entire administration have your back. They're coming after your kids. They put it on full display. It's hard not to see it if you're looking for it. It's hard not to see it if you're not looking for it. It's 9:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at the Glock store. We had a fantastic time at the Glock store just over the weekend. Saturday, the whole crew was out there, myself, Mandis Murphy, and tons of Super Talk listeners. Were you there? Thank you for coming. If you weren't, you missed out on a great party. And if you haven't been to the Glock store before, you're missing out on so much more. Glock store and the Shoot 270 ranges are absolutely incredible, and I had my first training session with them just a few weeks back. It was so cool. No lanes, no pains, just me and my instructor in a private room shooting. I learned so much. I learned more about shooting in that 1 hour than all of my lane range sessions put together. The instructor I had was Kevin, but every instructor at the Glock store are top notch. So have you experienced the Shoot 270 indoor shooting ranges? They're only at the Glock store, so if you haven't been there, the quick answer is no. And the longer answer would be me asking, why not? Set up your training session today. It's time for you to put your safety in your own hands, but you got to make sure you're trained. You got to make sure you're ready, and you can do that at the Glock store in the Shoot 270 ranges. The Glock store and Shoot 270, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere, especially on June 1st.
Got a crash blocking the right shoulder 65 southbound at Trinity Lane, and a lawsuit claims kids in Tennessee are being abused under the zero tolerance policy on threats of mass violence. Coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 9:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A lot of people on the members nutrition text line are saying that they're going to miss you, Mac. Have you seen that already?
Yeah, I'm going to miss everyone too, man.
Somebody said 2 days left of Woo Flu. What are we going to do?
It's another good nickname.
I know, yeah. I prefer Woo Flu over Cougar Chow.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, right?
Well, Matt's starting a new one, DTM. I mean, I've got a lot now, so.
So it's funny. I know a guy that does sports in Detroit, and his nickname is DTM.
I'm sure it doesn't mean dead to me, though. What does it stand for?
No. It's Dan the Man.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
DTM.
Yeah.
We should do that for our Dan.
We should. We should. I was thinking we could do MTM for you, but then that starts getting weird. It's a little bit too close.
Yeah, that's too. Yeah.
Sometimes initials get a little wonky.
Wish my middle name started with a T. It would be perfect, though.
It would be.
It would be great.
It would be. Have you ever said your real name on the air?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maliki? Yeah. Very rare, but I have.
It's rare because of the E. I just learned just now that it was Maliki.
Yeah, now Malachi. Yeah,
thought it was Malachi.
It's interesting.
Interesting.
Irish.
We're learning more about Mac. That's what
right before he leaves us.
That's what we're going to do the next couple of days.
Yeah, there we go.
Tell us something else we don't know about you. Larry on the members nutrition line says, Mac who?
Oh, Larry.
Larry's upset. I think Larry's taking it pretty hard.
It's fair.
We all are.
He's in the denial stage.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't have much to go with this clip, but I did want to play it. You know how Biden gets lost off stage? Usually he does the play-by-play in his head. Yesterday he was leaving. He was some speaking event at the White House. He's outside the White House, and he goes to get lost off stage, but he does the play-by-play out loud. He starts pointing left.
Go that way, I'll go this way. She's going that way, I'm going this way.
He starts pointing left. He starts pointing right. Which way am I going to go? And then he says,
You go that way, I'll go this way. She's going that way, I'm going this way.
woo! Woo! That's the Woo crew. Woo! Good job. Good job. Biden did have a major announcement yesterday. A major announcement. He finally is going to do something about the border. Except, spoiler alert, it's nothing at all, and he's using it as an opportunity to blame Republicans for the border.
I've come here today to do what the Republicans in Congress refuse to do. Take the necessary steps to secure our border.
Oh, I'm doing what the Republicans won't. I have all that audio for you, plus reaction from top members of the Republican Party next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
9:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Still have a chance for some of those rain showers to mix with thunder and lightning today before changes tomorrow. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Governor Bill Lee and the Williamson County School District are getting sued by parents who say their kids were punished after officials didn't correctly implement the zero tolerance approach to threats of mass violence. CNN says the lawsuit claims 2 middle school students were arrested, strip searched, placed in solitary confinement, forced to undergo evaluations, then placed on house arrest. No comment yet from Governor Lee. The Williamson County School District put out a statement that says it does not comment on litigation. In our nation's capital, Senate Democrats are expected to vote on a bill that codifies people's rights to access to birth control and the right of doctors to provide it. Tennessee U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty telling WTN's Nashville's Morning News.
It's another fake bill. It's just another effort by Chuck Schumer to distract the public and name something that is actually the opposite of what it is. I think we'll expose the sham today.
It needs 60 votes to advance, and that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Today, I'm announcing actions to bar migrants who cross our southern border unlawfully from receiving asylum. Migrants will be restricted from receiving asylum at our southern border unless they seek it after entering through an established lawful process. And those who seek to come to the United States legally, for example, by making an appointment and coming to a port of entry, asylum will still be available to them, still available.
So no more asylum unless you knock first, unless you set up an appointment, says the resident in chief. Thank you, Joe. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. It's 9:37. Joe Biden, executive orders. Oh, we couldn't do anything without the Republicans' help. We couldn't. How could you guys expect us to do this without the Republicans? Oh, wait, no, I'm gonna do something. Too little, too late. This is just, this is nothing. Nothing. 2,500 a day, 900,000 a year. But you got to knock first, right? You got to make that appointment. Unbelievable. He thinks we can actually effectively manage 2,500 migrants a day.
This ban will remain in place until the number of people trying to enter illegally is reduced to a level that our system can effectively manage.
Yeah, 2,500 a day is what our system can effectively manage. We can effectively manage. Okay. 900,000 a year.
I'll never separate children from their families at the border.
Well, you did that when you were vice president for Barack. That's where the kids in cages started.
I will not ban people from this country because of their religious beliefs.
I won't ban people from this country because of their religious beliefs. He's taken thinly veiled shots at Trump there with the quote-unquote Muslim ban, the quote-unquote kids in cages. But unaccompanied minors coming to the border, not separating them from adults, you're basically playing in to the drug cartels. Human smuggling, human trafficking has become a massive industry under Joe Biden. And he's essentially saying, yeah, I'm not going to look out for those kids. As the press conference ended, there was an extended wait while reporters screamed questions at Joe Biden.
Thank you very much.
Stands there and staring for about 20 seconds until he shuffles away. So Biden's executive order ensures that one migrant can cross the United States-Mexico border for every 2 American births. Even with that, Alejandro Mayorkas says the order is tough. It's tough, and it's going to deter illegal immigration. He's doing something tough. In fact, Mayorkas was on with Neil Cavuto. And Cavuto, to his credit, he says to him, you told us the border was secure. Obviously, it's not.
But nevertheless, you had said, and the president said a number of times, sir, that the border already was secure. So obviously, it's not.
Obviously.
Oh, Neil, we've been talking about strengthening the security of the border since day one. The challenge of irregular migration is very, very dynamic.
Oh, it's very dynamic. You know, sometimes it's climate change that contributes to irregular migration. But if you listen to Mayorkas there, he's like, no, we didn't say that. But if you listen to Mayorkas just a year and change ago, he was bragging about all the Trump border policies that they rescinded.
So we have rescinded so many Trump immigration policies, it would take so much time to list them.
It would take so much time to list them. Obviously, the Biden administration created this problem. Obviously, the Biden administration now understands with 5 months to an election, this is the biggest issue for Americans, so they have to be able to do something, right? And this is going to be a talking point at the debate. Easily. Biden's going to say, Trump will say, "Oh, the border's not secure under you." Biden will say, "Well, no. I tried to make it secure. Republicans wouldn't do anything, and then I was forced to take executive action." Alejandro Mayorkas says they're cutting out the smugglers during his interview with Neil Cavuto. They're going to cut the smugglers out. You have to come through the ports of entry. But they haven't shut down asylum.
President Trump shut down asylum altogether. What we are doing is cutting out the smugglers and deterring irregular migration in between our ports of entry.
You know, it's funny, though. Trump didn't cut out asylum altogether. He said you need to wait in Mexico until your case is heard.
Where it's so very dangerous and the crossings are illegal. We are allowing asylum claimants to come to the ports of entry using our CBP One app in a lawful, safe, and orderly way. We also have built other lawful pathways for individuals to seek asylum in this country. So we haven't shut down asylum.
No. He's saying we're actually making it easier. You just gotta download the app, and then you can get into the country and roam free. Neil Cavuto pushes back. He goes, "Well, what about the exemption for unaccompanied minors?"
The one thing I didn't understand, Secretary, there are a number of exemptions for this, including, unaccompanied children. And isn't that a green light for drug cartels to take advantage of that? And, the whole purpose of this, it sort of blows up in your face.
Oh, absolutely not.
But who's going to watch those unaccompanied children if they are allowed and you don't ship them back, you don't do anything like that? So where do they go?
Quick answer is they don't know. They've lost 80,000 unaccompanied minors under Joe Biden.
Neil, we deal with unaccompanied children in a humanitarian way, adhering to our values. We deter irregular migration. We build lawful pathways.
But this encourages drug cartels to take advantage of those kids, does it not, sir?
Yeah, and he says we're going to deal with it in a humanitarian way. You lost 80,000 unaccompanied minors that have come over the southern border since Joe Biden took office. Is that a humanitarian way? Does that adhere to our values as Americans?
Neil, we're taking it to the drug cartels with unprecedented strength through our transnational criminal investigative units.
No, this is actually a green light for those cartels. Isn't that the fear, that this was actually green lighting and say, oh, God, that we can use these kids as pawns to get what we want?
Yep, 100%.
Neil, let's be clear. The cartels, the smuggling organizations are unscrupulous. They exploit individuals of all different types of vulnerabilities. We are taking it to the cartels. We accepted unaccompanied children from this asylum bar because of the compelling humanitarian picture they present.
All right, let me get a better...
We're going to adhere to our values.
Okay.
We're going to adhere to our values while we take tough enforcement measures, which is what we have done.
Even Neil Cavuto knows that this is just absolute and total BS. And you can hear it in his voice. He's like, okay. I'm not going to get anything real from Alejandro Mayorkas. He's gonna sell us a bill of goods. We're being tough. But these kids, these poor kids, are getting sent across the border, and then they're thrown into human trafficking. Be it sex slavery or paying off debts that got them across the border, working at factories and the like. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And he says we're going to deal with it in a humanitarian way that adheres to our values. They haven't been doing that so far. They've lost 80,000 children. 80,000. And the reason that they're taking this action now is because the border is one of the biggest issues, if not the biggest, heading into the election.
Essentially, we're back to doing something that looks like an election year ploy. The election's only 5 months away, and lo and behold, you guys do this now. It just seems weird.
Just seems weird. I'm going to need that as a hotkey before you go.
It just seems weird.
Just seems weird. It's a good one, right?
That's perfect.
It just seems weird.
Neil, first of all, those voices of criticism, I would posit, did they support the Senate's bipartisan package? I would hope so.
The voices of criticism, did they support the bipartisan Senate package? I would hope so. No, they didn't. They didn't support that because it was a joke of a bill. It was an absolute joke of a bill. Everybody knew it was a joke of a bill. The Republicans knew instantly. The American people knew instantly. Even Ted Cruz was on Hannity last night, and he's talking about the fact that it was never a bipartisan deal.
There wasn't a bipartisan deal. There was a Chuck Schumer deal that was a terrible, terrible deal. The Chuck Schumer deal would have made the problem worse. The Chuck Schumer deal put into law catch and release. It codified it. The Chuck Schumer deal gave work permits to illegal immigrants when they arrive here. The Chuck Schumer deal gave taxpayer-funded lawyers to illegal immigrants when they got here. The Chuck Schumer deal normalized roughly 2 million illegal immigrants a year, every year in perpetuity. It was a terrible, terrible deal. And the reason is Chuck Schumer doesn't want to secure the border. Joe Biden doesn't want to secure the border. The Democrats don't want to secure the border. They want this invasion. The whole purpose of the Chuck Schumer deal was for every Democrat running for re-election to say, see, we had a deal that would have fixed it, right, but the mean old Republicans wouldn't agree to it. And that's what Joe Biden is doing now.
Yep, that's exactly what he's doing. And you can turn to Breitbart.com. They have an interview with a senior-level Customs and Border Protection source. And that source says the latest executive order signed by Biden will do little more than make Americans grow accustomed to more than 2 million migrant entries into the United States annually. The source, who's not authorized to speak to the media, says the order will do little to change the landscape of an out-of-control border, even if legal challenges by pro-migrant civil rights group fail to kill the order outright. Tuesday's executive order was titled A Proclamation on Securing the Southern Border. They're saying it will deny migrants the opportunity to apply for asylum when a 7-day average of migrant apprehensions at the southwest border reaches 2,500 or more per day, so 900,000 a year. The proclamation, according to the source, could allow for nearly 1 million apprehensions per year with no limitations on asylum eligibility if the cartels or the Mexican government meter crossings at less than 2,500 per day. In addition, the source says other lawful pathways to enter the United States are implemented during the Biden administration, that they've opened the border to nearly 1 million additional migrants at ports of entry under the cover of darkness in many cases. The source says the everyday citizen has become accustomed to 2,400 crossings being allowed through the land border ports of entry and airports based on the whim of this administration. These asylum claims are not vetted to any greater extent than an illegal crossing between the ports. Admissions through the CBP One app are just a mechanism to impact the unpopular optics of crossing between ports of entry. The source says the order does nothing to address the 800 to 1,000 or more known migrant gotaways the Border Patrol counts daily. In all, the lawful pathways crossing the border illegally in numbers under 2,500 daily, and counting those that the Border Patrol fails to apprehend, the source says more than 2 million migrants could cross the border each year without triggering any consequences outlined in the order signed yesterday. Let me say that again. The senior level source at Border Patrol tells Breitbart that the executive order signed yesterday is going to allow more than 2 million migrants cross the border each year without triggering any consequences outlined in that order. And the Biden administration knows this. You know it too. This is all talk, no action. No action at all. This is so when Trump at the debate says you've done nothing on the border, Biden can turn around and say that's not true. But we all know the truth. We all know. I got more reaction from Biden's executive order on the way. Hang out with us. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A lawsuit claims 2 Tennessee middle schoolers suffered from serious emotional trauma after what officials did to them after allegedly misinterpreting the state's zero-tolerance policy on mass threats of violence. This story and more at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 9:58 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ken, I was just telling Mac off the air how much of a breath of fresh air it was to have you doing the news yesterday afternoon.
So mean.
It was such like wow.
I already know that. You tell me. I'm already aware.
Everybody getting their digs in on Brother Mac.
We only have a couple days left.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
Real quick, Steve in the borough wants to talk about Trump debates. Steve, you're on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, buddy, man. Thanks for taking my call, Brian. You know what I wanted to say was what Trump needs to do to address this head on is to look right into the camera and just say to the American people, like, guys, the Democrat Party and Biden know that they cannot win this election on their policies that have failed America miserably. And the only way they can win is to allow 2 million people a year. So hopefully by the time the next election comes around, they're counting on 8 million people who didn't vote in the last election to replace you and shove their agenda down the throat of America and drive this country into the ground. And literally say, people, the Democrats hate America so bad that they want to fundamentally change the voting base by bringing in already estimated 8 to 12 million people. Let's call it 10 million people that have crossed the border since Biden took office. Add another 8 million to that. You're talking almost 20 million new voters by the next election cycle.
Yeah, I think that's a great take, Sean. Appreciate the call, man. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot this Wednesday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Tell you about more rain with some thunder, possible lightning today before the change comes. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now, Boeing's historic first crewed launch into space is underway. 2 NASA astronauts with Tennessee ties are on board. More on that in a moment. But first, CNN says a lawsuit against Governor Lee in the Williamson County School District claims 2 middle schoolers are suffering from emotional stress and are unable to cope after officials misinterpreted the state's zero-tolerance policy on threats of mass violence. Parents claim their kids were wrongfully arrested, strip-searched, placed in solitary confinement, forced to undergo evaluations, and then placed on house arrest. Larry Crane, the attorney for the family, says since filing the lawsuit, his office has learned of several more children he says have been wrongfully turned over to criminal prosecution. No comment yet from Governor Lee. The Williamson County School District issued a statement saying it does not comment on litigation. Here's the latest from the Hunter Biden gun charges trial.
Hunter Biden's defense lawyer has been trying to poke holes in the prosecution's case, suggesting that Biden wasn't necessarily using or addicted to drugs on the day he purchased his revolver. An FBI agent confirms the pictures the jury saw of Hunter Biden with a crack pipe were taken months after he bought the gun. And defense attorney Abby Lowell pointed to evidence suggesting his client may have instead been on an alcohol bender at the time of the buy. There's nothing on the background check form about that.
Stephen Portnoy reporting. And despite its recent challenges with its airplane fleet, Boeing has just launched into space for the first time its Starliner vessel, taking 2 NASA astronauts with Tennessee ties to the International Space Station on its first crewed test flight. More from Gio Benitez, who says this will be the 3rd attempt.
Boeing is facing a major PR crisis right now, so they need this to work out well, especially because they've already lost $1.5 billion on this program with all of those delays.
And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
You know, I'm nervous about my plane on Friday or my plane ride tomorrow being a Boeing when I go to Texas.
Yeah.
I would not hop on the spaceship.
Yeah, what do you think about these 2 astronauts?
Braver than me, I'll tell you that much. It's 10:02 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. I got to tell you about my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. These guys got you covered. When I had a problem pop up with my AC, I'll be honest with you, it was my own fault. I was ignoring those texts from Busy Bee that I needed to get my annual maintenance done. They said, you got to get it done. Otherwise, your unit is not going to be in tip-top shape. It's not going to be operating at max efficiency. And they were right. I had a problem pop up. Dirty coils. Very embarrassing. But I'm a Beehive Club member. So when I had that issue, I called my friends and I had front-of-the-line service. They were at my home in less than an hour fixing my issue. When you become a Beehive Club member, you get so many perks, and it's for so little cost. It's only $99 to join the Beehive Club, and it comes with those 3 annual tune-ups. One for your heating, one for your cooling, one for your plumbing. It gives you 10% discount on all repairs, priority front-of-the-line service, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions. Listen, it will pay for itself to become a member of the Beehive Club almost immediately. Busy Bee will always come see you on Saturday. They have those convenient availability hours for your maintenance calls, so you'll never be stuck waiting all weekend long for your AC to be fixed. They're your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. Online at busybeehvac.com. Okay, I just sent you a picture of that.
Okay, good. I'm excited to see this.
CNN's covering this big Boeing rocket launch. And so the CNN anchor who's there on the field, she's got a yeah, right? So it's like a toy rocket, like a model.
Model would be the correct, but toy's appropriate too.
Yeah. It's very phallic looking. So I kept saying it to Mac. I'm like, do you have CNN on in there? And he's like, no, I'm watching The View. I was like, that checks out. But I said, okay, well, I have to take a picture of this.
Oh my god.
Because it's embarrassing. Hard-hitting coverage from the worldwide leader in news.
That's so funny.
All right, should I tweet that out?
100%. Yeah, right, I got to show Ken. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, everyone's got to see that.
Yeah, okay. I'm tweeting it.
Because at first I was like, when you said it, I was like, I mean, how much could it really look? But no, yeah, I mean, this is this is great.
It's all right. So go to my Twitter at Chris Hand on air. I just sent it out. It's like
it's so dumb.
But the thing is huge.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, I don't understand why they did that. I don't have any idea why they did that.
Yeah, why was that needed?
Why did you need the prop?
Exactly. We get it. We see it.
It's taking off behind you.
We see the big version.
I just wish I had sound on in here because I'm assuming she's making like airplane noises. Like, how it flies through the air.
It's like that meme that was going around with the Corvette stuff with Biden, how he gets in the car in his garage.
Yep, exactly. Dan in Franklin wants to talk about Democrats' strategy. Dan, what do you think, man?
Hey, good morning. Always love your show. The thing that I wanted to say, and it just became so clear to me this morning, is that the Democrats' goal is to listen to specific constituents that they want to keep in their power to remind them how much they are victims. Because they want to make us, the people of Tennessee, the flyover states. They want to make us the bad people, whatever words that they use, that they keep using, the far right, right? There's never a far left in the media. There's always the far right. And the messaging is top down. It's always from the message from the top. I feel like Trump and many of the Republicans listen to the broad people across the country. Look at Ron DeSantis, what he's done in Florida. They want to do what's best for the entire country. I feel like the Democrats only want a message top down. The Republicans want to listen to the people and bring those messages up and implement those things for what's best for the country. The people that run the Democratic Party, they only want to listen to LGBTQ. They want to listen to far left liberals. They want to listen to single college-educated women. That's who they need to keep in their power to stay in office. They want to do everything they can to keep those people happy. Whereas the Republicans and guys like Trump, they want to help the entire country get better. And we saw it when Trump was in office. The entire country was better.
Yeah, 100%.
That is a message that I feel like we need to, or those messages, we need to keep those out there and remind people this is what's happening. This is how they're staying in control. Make people bad, make people victims.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the strategy. I think you nailed it, Dan, and I appreciate the call. You know, I don't think it's working, though. Trump keeps getting more and more endorsements. This latest endorsement will blow your mind.
So in your opinion, sir, your valued opinion, why do you think they put all these charges on Trump and they're afraid of him to be president?
Because Trump likes Africans in America. He likes black folks. That's one. I think that Trump is qualified and a very decent approach to having somebody representing America. Trump,
yeah, I agree with you. And I think Trump would be able to get us off this government thing and get us to making our own money, you know, because he knows how to make money. He knows how to lose money. And so he would be the perfect person to help us get our own again, right?
And Trump's a friend of African Americans. He's always been a friend of black people. That's how I know Trump.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And what is your name, sir?
My name is David Hilliard, founding member of the Black Panther Party.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, the Black Panther leadership, David Hilliard, has officially endorsed Trump. Black Panthers for Trump. You know, Trump has quickly become the party, the Republicans, because of Trump, have become the party of the working class, the party of the everyday citizen, and we see it so often. Trump also reversed course on a strategy just yesterday. Swamp the Vote USA website was launched on Tuesday, and former President Trump officially got behind his supporters using mail-in ballots and voting early in the November election with the launch of the initiative dubbed Swamp the Vote. He said many Republicans like to vote on Election Day, and we must swamp the radical Democrats with massive turnout on Tuesday, November 5th. the ex-president and presumptive Republican nominee, filmed a video at Mar-a-Lago where he explained that he still wanted elections to be conducted only on Election Day with paper ballots and by voter ID. However, that's not how the current election laws stand. But until then, Republicans must win, Trump said, and we must use every appropriate tool to beat the Democrats. They are destroying our country. So that happened yesterday. Also yesterday, Trump was on Newsmax reacting to Joe Biden's executive order on the border.
So first of all, it's a nothing that he did, and allowing massive numbers of people still to come in, and it's just misinformation, disinformation, and just another hit job. And frankly, this should have been done 3.5 years ago, but something meaningful, like the one that Congress passed, or we wanted Congress to pass, which was basically my things having to do with stay in Mexico, called Remain in Mexico, and catch and release in Mexico, not in the United States. No, this is a public relations executive order, and it's meaningless. He could stop the millions of people coming into our country with one order and one signature. It's all there for him. I did it. We had the safest border in history, and now we have the worst border of any country in the history of the world. It's a terrible, terrible thing that's happened to our country, and they're coming in from prisons and jails. They're coming in from mental institutions and above that, insane asylums, and you have a lot of terrorists coming into our country. And it's a terrible thing that he's doing. He's poisoning our country.
Yeah, and Joe Biden is absolutely responsible for all of it. And you can hear in the tone how annoyed the president is. But in this next clip, I want to play you Bill Malugin, who's been reporting at the border for a long time now. He just sounds downright pissed at the state of the border and the reality of what's going on down there. Bill Malugin was down on the border, and he's talking about what's coming across and what he's seeing. And he's like, guys, it's war-aged males. Fighting-aged males are coming across the southern border every single day. That's what Bill Malugin said. And he's absolutely right. You can see it. They're coming from all over. They're coming from Pakistan. They're coming from India. They're coming from Egypt. They're coming from China. They're coming from everywhere. And something needs to be done to change it. But under Joe Biden, all we're getting are, sweet messages that things are going to change, when in reality, like that source from the Border Patrol said, I read you that story earlier, all they're doing is getting Americans used to 2 million plus illegal aliens a year. That's all they're doing. They're just priming you up for a situation that's not going to change. That's what they're doing. Trump actually put out an ad on the southern border as well to kind of remind people exactly what everyone already knows. This is a mess caused by the Biden administration.
We have rescinded so many Trump immigration policies, it would take so much time to list them.
There have been more than 1 million migrant encounters since October 1st, when our fiscal year began. It is the earliest this milestone has ever been reached.
It's a mess that this administration created from day one. Smugglers and cartels exploiting chaos at the border. Agents are being removed from the line. They're having to process. They're having to do all the administrative work. And who is it that's, flourishing from this? It's the drug cartels.
Cartel gunmen stroll along the riverbank, armed with rifles. It's here where cartel gunmen have repeatedly been seen wandering through the brush after crossing into the U.S. illegally.
And it's not going to stop because this administration doesn't want it to stop.
This administration just does not care about the American people. They've shown that time and time again.
That is the U.S. side of the Rio Grande. 58 terrorists have crossed the southern border.
The entire world is showing up here at our doorstep. They're crossing illegally, and they are expecting to get released here into the United States.
We are in the biggest crisis, border security crisis, that we've ever faced in the history of this country.
Nobody has done worse on border security than President Biden. In all aspects of border security, he is clearly failing. He has no answers.
This is insane. The federal government has to wake up.
I know that 1,000 overwhelms the system. I cannot begin to imagine what 4,000 a day looks like.
Yeah, that guy at the end is a former Obama advisor. 1,000 overwhelms the system. What does 4,000 a day look like? Well, Biden settled in the middle, 2,500. 2,500 a day before they set down the border. Just, 900,000 plus a year. And Bill Maloogian's down on the border reporting, and you can hear the frustration in his voice when he talks about the reality of the border every single day.
The bottom line is the Biden administration has to change the feel down here at the border. Right now, all these people are coming in with no fear of removal, no fear of deportation. If we can pull up this video I shot early this morning, this was like 2 a.m. out here right where I'm standing in Hakumba. This was part of a group of a few hundred that crossed illegally here. I watched them as they walked to this border wall right behind me and started posing for selfies and pictures in front of our border wall as if it's like a tourist attraction or a great background for their TikTok or Instagram photos. It was just remarkable to see that there really is, some of them just think it's kind of like a joke. Like we ask them, this is illegal, right? And they giggle and they laugh at us. Yeah, we know. I say, you don't care? And they go, they shrug and they smile. They are not worried about being sent back to where they came from.
No, they're not worried at all. They don't think the Biden administration is going to do anything other than give them a cell phone, a debit card, and a hotel to stay, and they're probably right. Chris in the borough wants to talk about immigration. Chris, you're on Super Talk.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Caught me taking a bite of breakfast. Sorry.
I'm sorry, man.
No, really, the immigration policy that I think, well, of course, Biden's trying to step up and do something late in the game, but really, there's enough manpower and there's enough sort of technology to secure the border. We don't really need a whole fence. The people who were stopped at the border, especially who are claiming asylum, are going to have to go through the gates, in which case they need to be kept on the other side. But there also needs to be a more robust sort of judicial system to adjudicate these claims, right? To make it happen. But then the other thing is that there needs to be some sort of a national ID or something that's attached to your driver's license through your state that lets you know that you are either a citizen or you have a valid visa here or that kind of thing. And then businesses also, it's already kind of this way where if you want to send money home, if you want to rent a car, if you want to, rent an apartment or buy a house or really do any kind of business in America, you'll have to show that card. So if you make it harder for people to do business here that are here illegally, they'll stop coming here, especially if they can't send money home. But then the last thing is that there needs to be these countries these people are coming from need to be held accountable to be to maybe even, help them somehow so that both accountable and help them so that people aren't trying to escape for greener pastures nearby. And really the only person that's laid this out as a plan is Kennedy, which I think is great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge RFK fan, I'll be honest with you. And
I get that.
And I get that.
But the policy sound is what I'm what I'm pointing at. I feel like
But Trump's policies were sound too. I think my frustration comes from the fact that we're told that we have all of this strength, all of this technology in this country, and we can't shut down our own southern border. And I refuse to admit. I refuse to admit that we can't. I think if anybody actually wanted to, they could have the problem solved in 60 minutes or less.
I think we have the manpower, we have the technology. We're just not enforcing the laws that are already on the books to do it.
Yep, 100%. I appreciate your call, Chris.
And again, thank you.
Yeah, man, of course. It's 10:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So I sent out that picture of the CNN host.
Yeah.
A lot of people agree.
A lot of comments.
One
of them I saw was, I wonder if she thought it was show and tell at work day.
Oh, yeah. A lot of eggplant emoji.
Yep.
Responses. If you haven't seen it, so Boeing, for some reason, they're not worried about planes anymore. They're doing space rockets now.
Yeah, they got planes down, obviously.
Yeah. Nailed it. So they decided to do rockets, and CNN was, they're touting the success of their manned rocket launch, Boeing's. But the CNN anchor had a model or a toy, if you will, rocket as part of her presentation. And it's It's very phallic looking. So I took a picture to send to Mac because I was laughing because Mac was watching The View. He didn't see it. And then I said, should I just put it on Twitter so everybody can see it? So if you haven't seen that, at Chris Hand on Air, hit the follow button. I will follow back. It's 10:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at USS United Structural Systems. Oh my gosh, more rain. If you have water getting into your property, you are dreading days like today. But I need to tell you something. Dreading days like this should be a thing of the past for you. You need to call United Structural Systems. They're your waterproofing experts. They've been doing it in Middle Tennessee since 1994. They have 25,000 satisfied customers to back them up. They will come to your home, create a custom plan, and they won't leave until the job is done and you're satisfied. And when they leave a lifetime warranty. Now, when you get water in your home, sometimes you deal with mold. And now USS has a service to help you deal with that as well. Their microbial growth treatment, aka mold treatment. They're offering a discount now through the month of June where you get $500 off any complete mold treatment solution purchased through June 30th. I know, they're in the mold business now too. They'll waterproof your basement, your crawl space. They'll get rid of the mold. They do it all at USS United Structural Systems. Call them today and get them to come out to your house and take a look. Maybe you're not sure if you need them out there. Well, if you see the warning signs like cracks in your basement floor, wet basement walls, standing water in your crawl space, that means you need the guys at USS. So call them today, 615-488-7855, United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855, online at USSTN.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
Parents are suing Governor Lee and the Williamson County School District for the way their kids were treated under the state's zero-tolerance policy on threats of mass violence. Coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 10:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air. Real quick, did you see what the Navy Warfare Unit posted on social media?
Missed it.
Well, they posted their Pride Month graphic, of course. But after they posted it, they got roasted in the comments to the point where they had to turn the comments off. The most liked comment on the post was, "This is a slap in the face of every special warfare operator that has put their lives on the line for our nation." The second most liked comment was, "Man, this woke is like a cancer. It needs to be handled and dealt with as a threat to national security, gone way too far." Third most liked comment, "So glad I got out before this, as Uncle Phil would say, bovine scatology took over." So the command did not, they didn't engage in any of those comments. They instead decide to limit the comments. So, if you're not going to say anything nice, don't say anything nice at all. That's what Navy Special Warfare Command essentially said on Facebook. Libs of TikTok took the tweet and said, "The Navy SEALs have gone woke. Our elite special forces. This is terrifying." Yep. This is after there was another unit. I think it was the Navy as well. So they went to post the Department of Defense. It was the Department of Defense. That's right. They went to post a graphic for PTSD Awareness Month, and because it's PTSD Awareness Month as well in June. I know it doesn't get as much credit as the Pride Month. Why would we celebrate or give awareness to soldiers dealing with that who put everything on the line when instead we could focus on the rainbow? I get it. So the Department of Defense went to post their LGBTQ Pride graphic. They went to post their PTSD graphic and instead posted their LGBTQ Pride graphic. So we celebrate, the DOD is supporting service members and veterans affected by PTSD. If you know someone who's struggling, reach out for help. And then they had the Celebrate Pride Month graphic. They can't even do social media right. It's a mess. 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Could see some more rain mixed in with a little thunder and lightning here and there in Middle Tennessee before the change comes tomorrow. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in Tennessee, a lawsuit against Governor Lee in the Williamson County School District claims officials misinterpreted the zero-tolerance policy on threats of mass violence and caused 2 middle school students to suffer emotional and mental distress. CNN says the attorney for the families, Larry Crane, claims his office has learned of what he says are several more children who have been wrongfully turned over to criminal prosecution. And way over our heads.
3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff.
That's Boeing's first crewed test flight to the International Space Station. Launched nearly an hour ago. They're going to be in space for 8 days before heading back to Earth. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. You know Paul. I know Paul. He's a great guy. But you should get to know him a little bit better because Paul can help you take your financial future to the next level. You know Paul, you probably listen to him on the Investor Coaching Show. We run it here every Saturday from 3 to 6. That's how I first got introduced to Paul, listening to his show. My wife and I would listen, and we learned a lot from just listening to his show. So after I got my show here, me and Virginia were both like, we got to work with Paul. We have to work with Paul. And here's why. Paul's firm hold themselves the highest level of fiduciary status. As such, Paul wants to make sure that I tell you I get paid when I do these commercials. He wants to start that relationship off on the right foot with honesty and transparency. Where else do you hear that? Where else do you hear this? I like that Paul's team does nothing on commission. They focus more on education, and they'll educate you every single step of the way so you never get that uneasy feeling of blind trust. Paul's team is going to take a look at your whole financial picture because that's unique to you. And then after that, they'll help you make some decisions. But it starts by setting up a 15-minute phone call. You can set up your phone call today. Go to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com. 10:35 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you're having as much fun as the reporters on CNN covering that rocket launch. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can see the picture on my Twitter at Chris Hand on air.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. Philip texted into the members nutrition text line with another picture. He said, "She's petting it." LOL. What are we doing? So 4891 said, "Was there no one to stop that? Where's the brains?" Oh, wait, it's CNN. Yep.
There it is.
There it is. There it is. Somebody else said something too that I thought was hilarious. Oh, yeah. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's an eggplant. Yep.
Bingo.
Yep. All right. We gotta focus. We gotta reel this in. We have to. So we got an election coming up. You excited about that?
Woo.
Biden, I feel like Biden knows he's losing the black vote big time. And he's trying anything he can to desperately get it back. You know, I played a clip earlier. One of the founding members of the Black Panthers is on video. It's going viral. Dave Hilliard, and he says, Trump's a good guy. He's voting for Trump. So Black Panthers for Trump. President Joe Biden, in an interview with a Time reporter, asked Biden, if you win in November, Mr. President, with a mandate to continue your approach to foreign policy, what would your goals be in the second term? And Joe Biden said, he again, I think this is him pandering to the black vote. He says he'll help Africa build back better in a second term. In unrelated news, all of Africa has now endorsed Donald Trump. Yeah. Who wants? They're saying no. I mean, let's be honest though. Biden's America currently is an absolute mess. The economy is a mess. There was a story the other day where and I felt it was so tone deaf and out of touch that I didn't even grab the audio and play it. Because it was a story about Live Nation, and they're saying people, because of this economy, are cutting concert tickets out of their budget. I'm thinking, people, because of this economy, can't afford food. They can't afford their electric bill. They can't afford car insurance. They can't afford to fix their car. They can't afford rent. This is Biden's America. And the people behind Biden understand it's all falling apart. And upstairs for Joe, nobody's home. Nobody's home. So there's a new story out by the Wall Street Journal where dozens of Republican and Democrat lawmakers and staffers speak to the Wall Street Journal, and they're commenting on Biden's cognitive decline. They're worried about the 81-year-old president, saying he's often incomprehensible and regularly freezing in meetings. Yep, Joe Biden's cognitive decline has become readily apparent to dozens of high-ranking officials in recent months, a bombshell new report claims. I wonder, recent months, where have these people been? More than 45 Republican and Democrat lawmakers and staffers offered insight on the subject, citing recent mistakes by the commander-in-chief they found concerning. Aired in the midst of an election year, the report paints a picture of a president who is considerably slower than days past. And he was never the smartest guy to begin with. You can ask anybody that's worked with him. The White House, they still try to maintain that the 81-year-old is a top leader, top of his game. But the dozens that spoke to the Wall Street Journal disagree. They're describing a president who today speaks so softly that some struggle to even understand what he's saying. Others point to the commander-in-chief's declining grasp of important policy details and an increasing reliance on notes and impromptu offering from aides. We've all seen the increasing reliance on notes, whether it's his list of reporters that he's going to call on for questions, his answers for the questions that have been pre-planned, the pictures of the reporters that are next to those questions. Every meeting this guy's in, he has note cards. And several say that Biden's demeanor varies by the day. As the White House reportedly went through great pains to keep tabs on what Democrats were saying, the report titled Behind Closed Door, Biden Shows Signs of Slipping, published yesterday. They say you couldn't be there and not feel uncomfortable. One anonymous source said of a meeting with Biden during critical negotiations over congressional funding for Ukraine aid back in January, where the president moved so slowly, it took him roughly 10 minutes to greet the nearly 24 top leaders summoned. They say that meeting didn't start until the president was finished. Several who attended told the paper before describing the ensuing discussion meant to secure more congressional funding. At that point, Biden, who's the oldest ever U.S. president, began reading from his notes, making broad points about the need to give money for Ukraine. They say this struck several people in attendance as odd. Sources said, given the lawmakers were more than familiar with the facts that funds were needed. Some said they also had trouble hearing him as officials in Ukraine desperately beseeched the U.S. for munitions. Biden, moreover, deferred most of the talks to lawmakers to the point where most of the conversation didn't even include him. They're working the president out of the conversation. And when questions were posed straight to him, he would turn to staffers, they all said, describing just the first alarming sign they have seen this year. He couldn't answer the questions. He needed his staffers to do it. The Wall Street Journal has so many incidences like this in this article. And another instance that month, not mentioned by the Journal, this is a separate one, Biden would go on to mix up the names of two of his Hispanic cabinet secretaries, sparking more speculation on his mental capabilities. I think that this report really highlights the fear in the Democrat Party, that even the Democrats are turning on Joe because they want to hold on to power and they fear it is slipping away from them. They know it's slipping away from them. In every poll you look at, it's slipping away from them. Black voters, Hispanic voters, youth voters. Nobody wants to vote for this doddering old man with memory issues. Nobody. Because in Biden's America, everything is falling apart. Everything. It's been falling apart so quickly, and it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. In California, you know what a new thing is happening? Fire hydrants are being stolen from California neighborhoods, only in Biden's America. Fire hydrants. Fire hydrants are being stolen. Like, that's funny, but it's actually pretty scary if you need the fire hydrant. And the scary headlines are aplenty. Like the NYPD officers that were shot by an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. 2 police officers shot Monday morning by an illegal immigrant from Venezuela who was driving a scooter, according to NYPD officials. Fox News reported that the incident occurred around 1:40 a.m. following an attempted traffic stop. Fox 5 New York reported the officers were working to address a robbery pattern in the area involving mopeds and scooters. They tried to stop the suspect. The suspect caught the officer's attention by allegedly driving the wrong way. And as soon as they approached him, he started shooting at him. And again, this is an illegal alien that is living at one of the taxpayer-funded migrant facilities in New York City.
He was staying at the time at the migrant shelter a block away from the shooting scene. Nobody there said they knew him. However, people in the neighborhood said crime in the area is real.
It's definitely a change in the neighborhood.
She and other local residents say the whole situation shows it's important that the officers were here.
It's getting worse, and I'm worried, man. We've been like all neighbors. We talk to each other since this hotel became an illegal migrant shelter.
Yeah, it's getting worse. This is the reality of Biden's America. The reality of Biden's America is the justice system has been weaponized against their political opponents. Meanwhile, the justice system is helping illegal aliens. In Maryland County, Baltimore County, Maryland, a convicted illegal alien sex offender evaded deportation for weeks by suspending his prison sentence and setting him loose into the community. That's what the officials in Baltimore County did for this guy. Raul Calderon Intenario, a 25-year-old Guatemalan national, first arrived in the United States in Laredo, Texas, as an unaccompanied alien child in 2014. He was subsequently given a notice to appear in federal immigration court at a later date. And in November 2014, he was transferred by the Office of Refugee Resettlement to an adult sponsor in Maryland. The following year, a federal immigration judge ordered Calderon deported from the U.S. after he failed to appear in court. He was not deported. And in January 23, Baltimore County Police had to arrest him, and they charged him with sexual abuse of a minor, attempted sexual abuse of a minor, third-degree sexual offense, third-degree attempted sexual offense, and second-degree assault. This is the reality of Biden's America. The justice system's helping the criminals. They're not helping everyday citizens. They're not. They're not helping people at all. There's a story out of Chicago, and I'll let you figure out why this story doesn't get more headlines. A white couple, the woman was pregnant, husband and wife, were attacked by Chicago teens. Chicago teens. The woman went on to lose her baby. It's a really sad story, and this should be getting much more national coverage, but it won't.
Nina was 2 weeks pregnant and says she found out after the attack that she lost the baby she was carrying.
We believe in faith, and it wasn't meant to be. So we don't know why this happened to us, and everything that we have.
Well, Donna and Scott, the family, they tell me that they don't believe the motive here was robbery. In fact, they weren't robbed for anything. What they did tell me is as these kids were attacking them, they yelled out that they own the streets. The family.
They weren't robbed. They don't know what the motive was. And the teens who attacked them yelled, "We own the streets. We own the street. You can't walk around." What could the motive be? I tell you what. If it was a group of white teens attacking a black couple saying the exact same thing, this would be the biggest story in America right now. And they would say that the teens are racist and they're emboldened by Donald Trump. But because it was the other way around, you're not even going to hear this story anywhere else.
And he looked back and he looked at me and told me, run. So he wanted to protect me.
These are images of his injuries, bruising from head to toe. The attackers then unleashed their rage on Nina.
Another lady came to me and dragged me through my hair, with my hair on the ground. I start screaming. She start pepper spraying me right in the face, in the eyes.
This is the reality of Biden's America. This is the reality of leftists in control of the government and the justice system.
Another person starts stomping all over me, and my husband ran towards me to save me. Over 10 people held him.
Nina's hair was pulled from her scalp. Nina captured this image of the hair in her hand.
In the video, you can see there's literally a piece of her scalp that's missing where they ripped the hair out of the head of this pregnant woman.
When police arrived at Grand and McClure, the crowd started running, many hopping this fence. 2 teens were arrested and charged, a 17-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy. The teens aren't in police custody. Alderman Brian Hopkins says the teens shouldn't be able to get away with this.
We're asking the state's attorney to consider upgrading those charges to felony charges resulting in great bodily harm. Both victims suffered extensive injuries, and the medical examination is ongoing.
I mean, the reality of Biden's America is every major city in America has gotten far, far worse under his leadership. The reality of Biden's America is you're less safe. Your dollar goes less far. And they value illegal aliens over you. They value illegal aliens over veterans. They value illegal aliens over citizens. So it's no surprise when Biden is slipping in the polls and even his Democrat colleagues are throwing him under the bus because all Democrats truly care about is power, and they see that slipping away. The mainstream media covers for him. They won't air stories like this. They know stories like this are happening every day. They know illegal aliens are being let out for heinous crimes, and city officials aren't turning them over to be deported. This stuff happens every single week. That's the reality of Biden's America. So the Democrats, they understand. They're not stupid. They're not. They understand that they're going to lose the election in November if they keep on this same route. So they're throwing Biden under the bus as quickly as they can. It's 10:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A lawsuit claims 2 Tennessee middle schoolers are suffering after officials misinterpreted the zero tolerance policy on threats of mass violence at schools. We'll tell you about it at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 10:58 on Super Talk. Brian in Madison has a comment on the story in Chicago where teens attacked a couple. The woman was pregnant. The baby was lost. Brian, you're next on Super Talk.
Dude, if that was my daughter, granddaughter, sister, cousin, friend, and they didn't charge those thugs, first off, they didn't catch them all because they're cowards. They ran.
Yep.
But if that happened to somebody I knew and loved, and the cops and the DA and all these law enforcement, and I come from a law enforcement military family. I've got a son that served for a long time in both military and law enforcement. I would grab a couple of my buddies, maybe him, because he's out now of that stuff, and I would go back to that neighborhood and I would say, point them out. If you see them, tell me who they are, and we're going to take. I
mean, but that's what they're encouraging by the lack of or not the lack of.
That's right.
That's what they're encouraging.
Exactly right.
If the law won't do its job, it's going to force law-abiding citizens to take the law into their own hands.
It's like the sheriff in I don't know if it's Polk County or whatever, Florida.
Yep.
Who the guy came in made the, I don't know if it made the national news. That's what gets me, is that you guys at 99.7 come up with all these stories, and the major news outlets, which are liberal hacks, and they're not even journalists anymore. That journalism went away a long time ago, like Hannity says.
Yep.
It's dead. It's sad. And I just really think the silent majority of the people, I mean, I'm not too silent. I share my opinion a lot with people. Maybe I shouldn't. But I'm not going to sit by and let that go. Sorry.
Yeah, you can't. And staying silent is exactly what they want you to do. Silence is complicity. Dude, don't stay silent. Don't.
I heard a story recently of a guy who told a guy, he said, I'll spend all day in an orange suit. And the guy told him, I'll spend the rest of my life in an orange suit if you threaten me.
Yeah, I understand, Brian. And, a lot of people on the Members Nutrition text line are making the point that kind of stuff wouldn't happen in an area where people are allowed to have their concealed carry.
It might fly in the city. Good luck. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out.
$11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, keeping an eye out for some of those pop-up showers with thunder and lightning in them today. Changes tomorrow. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Boeing's Starliner spaceship has successfully reached orbit. Full report in a moment, but first here in Tennessee, a lawsuit claims 2 middle school students in the Williamson County School District are suffering emotional and mental distress after officials misinterpreted the state's zero tolerance policy on threats of mass violence on school property. Parents claim their kids, one identified in the filing as BN at Page Middle School and the other as HM at Fairview Middle School, were arrested, strip searched, placed in solitary confinement, forced to undergo evaluations, and placed on house arrest. Larry Crane is the attorney for the families, who tells CNN his office has learned of several more children he says have been wrongfully turned over to criminal prosecution. This lawsuit targets Governor Lee and the Williamson County School District. Now to Boeing Starliner, first ever successful crewed test flight into space. Gio Benitez.
This was a gorgeous launch. It was quite literally a perfect launch. The skies are nice and clear, which is everything you want to look for, and we saw it just sail away. So it is very much on its way right now, and we're told that everything is looking very, very good.
The 2-person crew on board heading to the International Space Station. They'll be back they'll be in space for about 8 days before coming back to Earth. And here in Tennessee, new developments in the case of a man who died after getting slugged by a security guard at Tin Roof on Demonbreun Street in February. The medical examiner says 26-year-old Austin Turner died of homicide by blunt force trauma to the head. Police say Turner was slugged by a security guard outside after being denied entry to the bar. That guard, Richard Cornelius, is charged with aggravated assault. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
.1106 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Joe Biden is in France. He took the small steps down Air Force One, and then he called a lid for the day. So no more questions, please. No more questions. It's funny because Harry Sissom, who's a Gen Z TikTok influencer, who's vote blue no matter who, super liberal kid, he posts this big long thing. It's like, that's Joe Biden. He landed at 9 a.m. in France. That's 4 a.m. our time. He's working all night for the American people. So then he calls a lid. Got to go take a nap. He probably slept on the flight, too. I mean, he looked like he had the CPAP machine marks all over his cheeks again. You know who's actually doing something today in the Biden family? Hunter. Hunter's in court today.
Don't.
Sorry. Joe Biden keeps going to court with him. Did you know this? She keeps showing up. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. So Hunter's in court. Breitbart has some court takeaways from Hunter Biden's trial so far. They say that the gun trial has uncovered 9 explosive pieces of information in the first 2 days of proceedings. These are the pieces of information. The defense is going to try to convince the jury that Hunter did not knowingly commit wrongdoing, as prosecutors say, in order to frame Hunter as a victim of drug addiction. That's going to be a good strategy when you listen to who's on the jury. It's all former addicts or people who have dealt with addiction in their family. That's the strategy. The defense's strategy might be to obtain jury nullification. They also say the DOJ is going to frame their prosecution as no one is above the law and that it doesn't matter who you are or what your name is. I feel like the DOJ has an open and shut case here, but we'll see what happens. The jury is split evenly between men and women. All three of the alternates are women. One of the alternates is a former Obama donor. And many jurors seated in the case, again, have family members who have experienced drug abuse. But just yesterday, the FBI is on the witness stand. They have an FBI rep on the witness stand, and the FBI witness confirms on the stand that Hunter Biden's laptop is real. Listen, these are things that you and I both know, but it's still fun to see it be proven in the court of law, and it's held up. This woman's under oath, Erica Jensen. She's an FBI agent, and she confirmed the authenticity of Hunter Biden's infamous laptop during the second day of his gun trial. So, again, we've known about this since October of 2020. The internet tried to shut this down. The establishment spun this story as Russian disinformation. The DOJ previously asserted in its authenticity in court filings, but prosecutors asked Jensen to confirm its authenticity before the jury because it plays an important evidentiary role. The laptop contains WhatsApp messages, iMessages, and text messages related to the case. The DOJ confirmed the laptop was Hunter's by determining that he left it at that computer repair shop and that the contents matched what authorities obtained via a search warrant of Hunter's iCloud. Breitbart reported that back in January. Don't you love being proven right, though? Is anything really going to happen with this? Probably not. But it is good to see that after a little bit of time, once again, the conspiracy theorists are putting points on the board. We are. And Joe Biden isn't the only family member in attendance. Hunter's wife is there as well. And as they're revealing the contents of his laptop, she's sitting there shaking her head. How could you still be married to this guy? I have no idea. During his trial, they're showing photos, videos, and text messages from when he was in the depths of his addiction to crack cocaine. They say it made for a dramatic day in court. Melissa Cohen, Hunter's wife, shook her head as the prosecutor, Derek Hines, took the MacBook Pro 13 from a plastic sleeve and walked it across the courtroom and held it up for the jury. She couldn't believe it. You've seen the pictures. Would you, if that was your spouse, would you stay married to that person? This all came on the second day of trial. This was yesterday. The jury heard that Hunter smoked crack every 15 minutes, and they went into details of his life of debauchery. Hines' first witness was FBI agent Erica Jensen, who again confirmed the laptop's authenticity. He then showed the court evidence taken from the laptop from hell, including pictures of text messages where Hunter referred to himself as an addict and his conversations with suspected drug dealers. There was also a message where he describes sleeping on a car smoking crack 2 days after buying the gun at the center of the case. The 12 jurors also saw a video of Hunter shirtless, smoking a pipe, and weighing what appeared to be crack on digital scales. You've seen all these photos. I've seen all these photos. They're not Russian disinformation. You weren't crazy to believe this story back in 2020, and you've been proven not crazy today. Apparently, though, Hunter's wife had a rough day yesterday. The word on the street is that she flew into a rage at Hunter's trial outside of the courtroom at a Trump aide. Hunter Biden's wife walked up to a former Trump staffer and called him a Nazi piece of sh. In a dramatic outburst outside the Delaware courtroom, she walks up to this guy and she says, "You have no right to be here, you Nazi piece of bleep." They say that she was 6 inches away from former Trump staffer Garrett Ziegler, who was attending the trial. She pointed in his face and said, "You have no right to be here, you Nazi piece of bleep." Ziegler did not reply. I couldn't imagine having to be Hunter's wife right now. Because this isn't even the worst part of it yet for her. Hunter's wife is also going to have to hear from Hallie Biden. Yes, the widow of Beau Biden, who was entangled in a romantic relationship with Hunter Biden. Hallie, the ex of Hunter Biden and the widow of his brother, is going to testify about her use of crack with Hunter. That's what prosecutor Derek Hines said during Tuesday's opening statements. Hallie dated Hunter in 2018. She's the one that found the handgun in Hunter Biden's truck outside her home, prosecutors say. She's the one, prosecutors say, dumped the gun in a nearby grocery store trash bin, according to prosecutors. And Hunter used crack when he purchased the firearm. A wide variety of photos from the time on his laptop prove that. The Secret Service allegedly intervened in the investigation of that incident. So this is going to get much worse for Hunter's wife. Much worse. I mean, the guy slept with his brother's widow after smoking crack with her. How on earth could you remain married to this person? I have no idea. And word on the streets is that President Joe Biden intends to have a phone conversation with Hunter Biden every day during his Delaware gun trial. That's what White House aides told Politico on Tuesday. I can't imagine what that conversation is going to be like. It's going to be, hey, Dad, who is this? You called me. What? The report comes as Jill and Hunter's wife arrived at the Delaware courthouse to view proceedings for the second day in a row. The Bidens took detailed notes during jury selection on Monday, court reporters indicated. Joe Biden's Department of Justice is prosecuting Hunter for making a false statement about the purchase of his firearm. Possession of a firearm by a person who is unlawful user or addicted to a controlled substance, and for a false statement related to information required to be kept by a federal firearms licensed dealer. Joe's going to be calling him every day. He's the smartest guy he knows. The mainstream media is not going to cover this case with any percentage of the coverage that they gave to Donald Trump's case. We know that. Biden's presidency is just falling apart. They don't want any more bad news. Although we are, 14 days? No. 12 days away from the debate, 22 days? What is it? Math is hard. The 27th, the debate happens.
Yeah, 22.
The last debate, they said that the laptop was Russian disinformation. He can go into this debate and say the FBI just confirmed on the stand that the laptop is real.
Trump was right and Joe Biden was wrong.
Many such cases. I can't wait for this debate. I'm looking more and more forward to this debate every single day. When you see what's going on in this country, this debate is going to be must-see TV. It has to be must-see TV. Between Hunter and the border, it's been amazing. Joe's going to try and say that he's taking action on the border. He's lying. Just like he lied about the laptop being Russian disinformation during the last debates in 2020, now Trump can point to that and say, you're a proven liar. A proven liar. And when it comes to the border, Joe's going to try and say he took action. He's going to try and say it's getting better. But let the illegal immigrants tell you the real story. They say that they're not worried about crossing the border illegally at all.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Why'd you come to Egypt? Why'd you come to America?
For a job.
For a job?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like asylum. They're coming for jobs.
No, it's illegal to cross the border like this, right?
Yeah.
You don't care?
Yes, I'm okay.
Hi, guys. Where are you
Yes. You know it's illegal? Yes. You don't care? Yes, I don't care.
guys from?
Egypt.
What country? Egypt? Where are you from? What country?
I am from Turkey.
Turkey?
Yeah.
All Turkey?
Kurdish. Yeah.
America. I love America. I love you. I love you, America.
Where are you from?
From Egypt.
Egypt. Okay.
America.
Egypt. Guys, we got some pretty stunning data from our CBP contacts. Since October 1st here in San Diego sectors, there's been about 260,000 illegal immigrants apprehended by Border Patrol. We're told of that number, 78% of them have been released into the United States. And we're told that's primarily because a lot of the people crossing here are coming from countries where it is very difficult to deport people. They're not afraid of deportation. You heard that Jordanian guy tell me when I asked him, you don't care about crossing illegally? He says, yes, I don't care.
No, of course they don't care. They just want the free stuff. I hope Trump asked Biden at the debate, what about the illegal aliens that are already here in this country? What about all the illegal aliens that have already been let in? Because Biden's obviously going to tell him, I took action. Well, what about the ones that are already here? Because there's a lot of illegal aliens that are here now because of you taking away the Trump border policies. I hope Trump calls him on every single lie. But Trump isn't just going to be up against Biden. He's going to be up against the moderators as well. And when it comes to the migrants here, it's a lot of them.
What about the migrants who are already here? Since Biden took office, more than 5 million migrants have crossed the southwest border.
If that's not shocking enough, more than 1,500 have been linked to terrorism, according to CBP data. And we're only talking about the ones that have been caught. There have been 1.6 million known gotaways under President Biden, and American citizens are paying the price.
The House Budget Committee estimates that the cost of Biden's border crisis more than $150 billion. And this massive influx of migrants straining city budgets as well. In fiscal year 2023, New York City spent $1.5 billion on the crisis. Chicago spent $275 million. Denver spending $46 million.
Yeah, and Denver is actually giving jobs to illegals instead of Americans. They're picking illegal aliens for jobs needed by Americans. Denver's Mayor Mike Johnson is celebrating a new initiative to help migrants transition from the city's shelter into jobs with a new program to offer job training, legal help, and English language educational services. Thus far, the city has enrolled about 800 illegals into the program, and more are expected to be added by the end of June. This is according to NBC, and the mayor of Denver says our goal was to take what people saw as a crisis and turn it into an opportunity. We have people arriving to the city who desperately want to work. We have skills and talent and discipline. We have employers in the city who are starving to find employees, and they desperately want to hire them. What we wanted to do was take those people that are looking for work and connect to them with the training and the skills centered on jobs where we have the greatest need. So what we did is create this first of its kind program in the country, which is this asylum seeker program. It's amazing, though, because I'm sure there's many Americans that want that same kind of opportunity, but they don't get it because Democrats in power time and time again prove that illegal aliens are valued much more than you. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A lawsuit claims Tennessee students have been wrongfully prosecuted under the state's zero-tolerance policy on threats of mass violence at school. The third time seems to be the charm for Boeing space program. This and more coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air. Again, the Wall Street Journal, they're sounding the alarm. Biden showing signs of slipping behind closed doors. He's been showing signs of slipping right in front of us. What? How is this news? This is the guy that said middle from the biddle. He shows this every day.
But when you're middle from the biddle.
Yeah. Rich folks will do good, and poor people have a shot.
Got a shot.
You got a shot.
Got a chance.
The Wall Street Journal spoke to more than 45 people, Republicans and Democrats. I wish they had just spoke to Democrats. Like, they might have spoke to 2 Republicans, but they want to be able to say Republicans and Democrats over several months about meetings where people say Biden mumbles and speaks so softly, people struggle to hear him, closed his eyes for so long that people wondered if he had tuned out or fallen asleep and had to read from notes to make obvious points. Obvious points. Senator Kennedy, he was essentially responding to these reports. And I have to say, Senator Kennedy is a national treasure.
It's sad. The highest and best use of the president's time at this point would be selling catheters on late night TV. I mean, it's...
Oh, my gosh. Savage.
I feel like I have to disagree with him. I would not buy a Biden-endorsed catheter. I wouldn't.
Selling catheters on late night TV. I mean, it really is sad. And we all know someone who's reached that age. We wouldn't even think of giving him or her the toughest job in the world. If the president were my father, I'd take away his car keys.
Yeah, yep. And the word is, when it comes to that Wall Street Journal article, the White House was keeping close tabs on which Democrats they were interviewing. And some of those Democrats shared with the White House recordings or details of the interviews and requested to speak again and emphasize Biden's strengths. Essentially, like, if you say something wrong, you're gonna get fired over this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're keeping close tabs on which Democrats are being interviewed by the Wall Street Journal? Yeah. Because if you say something wrong, you're probably going to be fired. One of those Democrats, Rep. Gregory Meeks, a Dem out of New York, told the Wall Street Journal, they just, said that I should never give you a call back. That's the official stance. They said I should never give you a call back. He also did an interview with Time Magazine. And the guy that interviewed Time Magazine was on CNN, and they asked him how the president was during his interview. How did he seem? What was his demeanor like? Listen to his explanation, because the way he dances around it is incredible.
President Biden brushing off any concerns about his age. How did he seem to you?
He appears very much as he appears on TV. He is older than when he started in office. It's visible if you just look side by side on the tape. The transcript is a good place for people to go to assess that. He was... We describe it in the piece as well. There's some sort of color description of how he appeared in there.
Well, it was terrible. He couldn't string a thought together.
He's old.
He is older than dirt. Oh, yeah, I like how Jake Tapper leads and he's like, we're going to brush off any concerns about his age.
President Biden brushing off any concerns about his age. How did he seem to you?
Ooh, well, he definitely seemed.
He appears very much as he appears on TV.
That's not a good start.
That's not what we want.
That's not what we want.
He is older than when he started in office.
He breathes oxygen. I noticed that he does blink.
It's visible if you just look side by side on the tape. The transcript is a good place for people to go.
Transcript's a good place for people to go. Did you alter the transcript like the way the special counsel had his transcript altered before the White House released it? Did you do that? That's usually what you guys do with transcripts. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Right now, Governor Bill Lee and the Williamson County School District are named in a lawsuit claiming 2 middle school students were wrongfully punished under the state's zero tolerance policy to prevent school shootings. And the third time seems to be the charm for Boeing's space program.
3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Starliner and Atlas V.
Yeah, a spacecraft with 2 astronauts on board headed for a rendezvous with the International Space Station. Boeing wants to prove to NASA it should join SpaceX as one of 2 companies making routine trips to orbit on behalf of the space agency. And a new report from the World Meteorological Organization says the world's getting closer to surpassing targets in the Paris Climate Agreement. May 2024 goes down as the warmest May on record globally, and the 12th consecutive record-breaking month, according to Europe's Climate Change Service. And that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's sad, or the highest and best use of the president's time at this point would be selling catheters on late night TV. I mean, it really is sad. And we all know someone who's reached that age. We wouldn't even think of giving him or her the toughest job in the world. If the president were my father, I'd take away his car keys.
That was Senator Kennedy on Joe Biden's state. It's not good. It's 11:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. If you want to join the show, 615-737-9986. Brent in Spring Hill, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Brent?
Hey, man, you give Senator Kennedy too much flowers or whatever it's called now by you young guys. But he's a Harvard graduate. All that Colonel Sanders shuck and jive is, I like Matt Gaetz. I like when Matt Gaetz' eyes get bright and he takes somebody's task.
I like Matt Gaetz. I think Senator Kennedy's hilarious.
He is funny, but that's a put on.
You think so?
That's a Harvard. He's a Harvard graduate. He don't really sound like Colonel Sanders.
I think that's the way he actually talks. I think that's, okay. I do. I could be wrong. Okay. I could be wrong, but I think that's legit how he talks.
It may be, but I'm just like, that dude's graduated from Harvard. I feel like it's a put on sometimes, but whatever.
Hey, you could be right.
I like Matt. I love me some Matt Gaetz.
Yeah,
he destroyed Garland yesterday.
I know. I have that audio. Thanks for bringing that up, Brent. I got the audio, and thanks for your call, Brent. I don't know. Maybe it's a put on from Kennedy, but politicians lying wouldn't surprise me.
Well, yeah. I mean, Harvard isn't a reason for that. There are plenty of very intelligent people who have accents.
You can go to community college and be a liar.
Yeah, exactly.
But he did bring up Matt Gaetz. He said he liked Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz yesterday, he really brought the heat to Merrick Garland when it comes to the conspiracy theory that the Biden DOJ is after Trump.
Attorney General, you've told us that it's a dangerous conspiracy theory to allege that the Department of Justice is communicating with these state and local prosecutions against Trump. You can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fonnie Willis' office and Letitia James's office?
Yeah, I mean, if there's no communication, just show us the records and the conversation is over.
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that. The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those communications?
You make a request, we'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing. You come in here and you lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory, that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about.
Yeah, he nails it. If you're worried about conspiracy theories, the way to end that is transparency and honesty and sending them the communications they're requesting. Like, no, we didn't coordinate anything. Look at all of our communications. The case would be closed, right? But the fact that he doesn't want to hand those over and he dances around the question, well, that advances that conspiracy theory. Larry in Clarksville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Larry?
Hey, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. First of all, Senator Kennedy went to Harvard back when Harvard was a real college, but Senator Kennedy is still 100% Louisiana Cajun, and at least we can understand him unlike a lot of Cajuns that I know. But, at least he doesn't fake a Canadian accent.
So this is true. It's harder to fake.
but
It's harder to fake, I would say.
Well, no. The whole naval thing, I mean, Chris, this absolutely makes my blood boil. And it is a slap in the face to anyone that has ever served this country.
Well, I mean, you're a veteran, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, like,
Now,
when
I
you
only
see this,
I only did 6 years.
But when you see this, I mean, what is that? How does that make you feel?
It makes me want to duct tape my head and it go slap a knucklehead alongside the head. I mean, I joined at 17, and the military leaders that we have in place now could not fight their way out of a wet paper bag with a flashlight and a road map. And what they have done to our military is absolutely disgraceful, and they're wondering why they cannot get people to join.
That's the thing that's always blows my mind. Like, oh, our recruitment numbers are down. What could be happening? It's like, well, are you not paying attention, or are you just pretending that you don't see what's going on?
Listen, Chris, even right now, I would go back in before I would let you or Mac either have to be, made to serve or want to serve. Because I call balls and strikes, but I would go back in myself before I would let either one of you go back in or go in.
No, I hear you. And the story that Larry's referring to, we covered it earlier, the United States Navy Special Warfare Command. That's the command that oversees the Navy SEALs and other special operations forces. They celebrated Pride Month with a graphic they posted on their Facebook page. And after they were roasted in the comments, they limited who could comment on the photo. So they know that people don't like this stuff, yet they still continue. Why do they keep pushing this, Larry?
Well, I can tell you why. It's this administration. And, Chris, yeah, I've got a Southern accent. I surely do, and I'm proud of it. But I also had a chance to join a space program back in 1979. And I let my then wife talk me out of it. So, yeah, I've got a Southern accent, but that doesn't just necessarily mean that we're all just dumb, barefooted, and ignorant.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I would never think that.
Well, when I worked for the Federal Reserve Bank and I was dealing with Chase Manhattan and all these other banks in New York, they would kid me and ask me if we came to work barefooted.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. That's crazy.
But, I had later after that, I had to fly up to New Haven, Connecticut for a tech school, and I took some good old Tennessee Shine up there with me. I had put it in a cardboard box and labeled it contaminated oil sample so that it wouldn't get open.
That's good.
And I know that's hard to believe, right? And so we're sitting there waiting for class to start, and I see two of the instructors running by the class to the water fountain.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
they tried it that morning.
Jeez, that's wild. Hey, I appreciate your call as always, Larry.
All right, brother. Love y'all.
All right, man.
Bye, Mac.
Bye, Larry. Love you, man.
I know. Is this your last time talking to Mac, Larry?
Well, who knows? Because who knows if he's going to show up tomorrow.
This is true. This is true. We don't know. I do want to point out. Thanks for the call, Larry. We're gonna have a big going away show for Mac on Friday.
Heck yeah, I'm excited.
We're gonna celebrate all of your best moments. And
Be
then,
short.
And then we're gonna have 2 hours and 40 minutes left of the show.
There it is. Exactly. There it is. Ridiculous.
We're gonna have some fun. No. So I know everybody's sad that Mac is leaving. He's going to Kansas City to produce a morning show that it's the station for the Kansas City Chiefs, but he's going to be here for a couple more days as long as there's no sporting events this evening.
Yeah, I got my TiVo working, so.
I am worried though about Friday because the NBA finals start Thursday night.
Well, you know me, Chris, we're both Celtics fans.
I know.
I'll be here. If you show up, I'll show up. I won't have the excuse that time. We'll both be watching that game.
I'll be in Texas.
Yeah.
And I'll be doing the show live from Texas with the Alamo in view.
Oh, yeah?
I'll be doing my show. Yeah.
We'll have to have the full Alamo review.
Well, I will give a full Alamo review come Friday. And if I don't get to it, if I can't get there in time on Thursday night, I'll have a full Alamo review come Monday.
Set for Monday. Gotcha. Yeah. I'll tune in.
You will have to.
Yeah, I'll have to hear the Alamo review.
The Alamo review is going to be epic. I promise.
Also, we had a call from Ruth on the call line talking about Senator Kennedy. She went to undergrad with Senator Kennedy at Vanderbilt, and she said that's exactly how he talks.
See, this is what I'm thinking.
It's exactly how he talks.
I think that's just how he talks.
And then we had a wonderful text in the Members Nutrition Super Text line that says, where is it? I can't. Oh yeah, 9630. Kennedy does sound like that. You have him on your show at least once a day.
Yeah, he lives in Lebanon, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love you, Kelly.
It's sad. Or the highest and best use of the president's time at this point would be selling catheters on late night TV. I mean, it's.
Do you hear Laura Ingraham?
Yeah,
she tries to not sell that, but you can hear her snorting underneath.
Selling catheters on late night TV. I mean, it's.
She's holding it in.
She's trying to do the no sell.
It really is sad, and we all know someone who's reached that age. We wouldn't even think of giving him or her the toughest job in the world. If the president were my father, I'd take away his car keys.
Yeah, I would. It's funny. I played that clip last night while I was doing show prep, and Virginia was like, "You always say that about me. I would never let you do that job if you were that slow." I know, because you actually care about me. Joe Biden's family does not care about him. They care about power. So that's why they're going to continue to make him do everything that he can to hold on to that power. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7. We're going to check in with Matt Murphy, see what's coming up on Murphy Show next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What did he say?
11:55 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Matt Murphy joining me in studio. Mac Morey, he's here today.
Yo.
Nice that he bothered to show up. The short timer.
There was
DTM.
There was no underwater hockey for him to watch last night.
Blindfolded bowling, canceled.
By the way, I've decided I'm perfecting in your honor before people forget about you.
Which it will happen quickly.
So in that
Monday, probably.
In that, I don't know, what do you think? 2-3 week time frame. I'm working on a Patrick Mahomes impersonation that sounds exactly like Kermit the Frog.
Yes. I mean, they're practically the same.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Patrick Mahomes here. Number 15 for the KC Chiefs. Hi-ho.
Have you?
Here's my wife, Brittany Piggy.
Have you filled Hand in on our wager?
I don't get that bit at all. I don't understand it.
Patrick Mahomes sounds like a Muppet.
Hey, guys. Does he really?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You think so?
Absolutely. There's a great.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
And I should fill you in.
Yes.
That I told Mac, we made a bet, $1,000 bet. It originally was just $1,000 challenge, but then I conveniently slid it over to the bet category.
I know him. What?
Where the first time that he talks to Patrick Mahomes, I need audio evidence of him doing his Patrick Mahomes impersonation to Patrick Mahomes.
That's good.
The first time he talks
Pretty
to
good.
him.
Yeah, on the air.
On the air saying, hey, Patrick, I do this impersonation of you. Would you mind?
Off the air, he's going to be like, okay, so there's $1,000 bet riding.
I don't have a $500 million contract like you.
I don't think you sound like this.
Right.
But I'm living with my mom.
We can we can solve this one of two ways, Patrick. Either you can just slide me $1,000 right now and see the whole thing happen, or I can do this stupid thing. When I was in Birmingham, when I had a partner on the morning show, Andrea Lindenberg was a former television host, and she was my partner for about 5 years. And she did the governor of the state of Alabama is Governor Kay Ivey, an older, very southern lady that talks like she's got marbles in her mouth, and she sounds like a female version of Foghorn Leghorn. And Ani did this great impersonation of her, and we had never had her in studio. And so I told Ani, I said, "You don't have a hair on your chin if you don't do this impersonation in front of her." And I challenged her on and off the air to do it. And so toward the on Ani, I didn't know if she would do it or not, but toward the end of the interview, she said, "Well, Governor, I don't know if you know this or not, but I do an impersonation." She was so embarrassed to do this because the governor really didn't. We didn't know that if the governor had a sense of humor about it or not.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
And we're about to find out. She said, "I do this impersonation of you, and I'd kind of like to see what you think about it." And there's this long pause, and Kay Ivey says, "Well, why don't you give us a demonstration?" It worked out. She actually
thought it was funny. Oh, that's
she thought
good.
It was funny.
That's good. That's great.
So it'll get you fired, though, I think. I don't think
exactly. Yes.
Anything going on in the news, Chris, that I need to know about? You know, I think
no.
Let's go with it. I'm fascinated with the ability that the mainstream media has developed to play dumb. And maybe I shouldn't be, because it's not like it's anything new. But the Biden administration comes out with this stupid executive order that many of us are correctly noting doesn't do anything. But I think it does exactly what it's designed to do. Given the number of stories that I counted over the last 24 hours that uses the word tough to describe Joe Biden. That's the entire design. So I'm going to start there and move from there today.
But you know why he did it? It's to save the country from Republicans.
I've come here today to do what the Republicans in Congress refuse to do.
Because everybody's going to believe
He's saving us from ourselves. God bless you, Mr. Resident.
Oh, man. I'm taking that up, too. I love that.
Oh, it's good,
You're
right?
the first. I'm giving you credit.
The resident.
Resident in chief.
It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.